Health, government, sports. There's a lot of ground to cover in today's edition of CNN Student News, so we're going to get right to it. I'm Carl Azus. First up, the U.S. government declares a public health emergency in preparation for a possible epidemic of swine flu. Like the name suggests, this virus is usually associated with pigs. The worst outbreak appears to be in Mexico, where authorities say 81 deaths are likely linked to swine flu. Officials there are checking more than 1,300 other people who have flu-like symptoms. A group of students and teachers in New Zealand might have been infected during a recent trip to Mexico. Canada has at least 6 confirmed cases, and as of yesterday afternoon, the U.S. had at least 20 cases in 5 different states. Only one of those people had to be hospitalized. The World Health Organization says it's too early to tell whether this will be a mild or serious pandemic, a disease outbreak that spreads across multiple countries. For now, experts are investigating the virus and how to avoid it. It started in pigs, though you cannot get it from eating pork. At first, swine flu only occasionally transferred to people like farmers who came in contact with pigs. Now it's spreading from person to person. Experts think that happens through coughing, sneezing, and picking up the virus from contaminated surfaces. And though it can be deadly, many of the Americans who've gotten swine flu are expected to make a full recovery. The symptoms here are the same as for the regular flu: fever, sore throat, achiness, chills, exhaustion, possibly vomiting and diarrhea. If prescribed within a couple days of the first symptoms, antiviral drugs work especially well against the disease. In the meantime,
it's clear there are things people can do to reduce the likelihood they'll get infected. Frequent hand washing is one of the most important things people can do. And if people are sick, stay home. Don't travel.
The Centers for Disease Control recommends that if you do, cover up with a clean tissue when you cough or sneeze. Keep your hands clean, as you heard, and avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth to keep germs from spreading. In addition, Mexican authorities are telling people to avoid large crowds, keep their distance from others, and to avoid kissing. All right, in other news, we've been getting some comments on our Facebook page from students at Ocean Bay Middle School who have been affected by serious wildfires. We certainly hope you're all doing well there. These blazes have scorched a destructive path across parts of South Carolina for more than a week. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported. The flames have destroyed about 70 homes in the area and damaged about 100 others. As of Sunday, the blaze was about 85% contained.
Time for the shout out. What country's flag is this? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it Lebanon, Spain, Iran, or India? You've got 3 seconds. Go! It's the national flag of Lebanon, a country that's home to about 4 million people. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says that those Lebanese should be able to take part in free elections. She made the statement during a surprise trip to Lebanon, which is scheduled to head to the polls in about 6 weeks. The country is in between the U.S. and other Middle Eastern nations like Syria and Iran, both geographically and politically. As Jill Doherty explains, that could be an issue during the upcoming election.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton lays a wreath at the site of the 2005 assassination of Lebanese Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri, part of the country's violent political legacy. Lebanon is facing June 7th parliamentary elections that U.S. officials concede could see some gains by Hezbollah, the hybrid political militant group that fought a war with Israel in 2006, but also provides social services to Lebanese citizens. Hezbollah has ties to Syria and Iran. Secretary Clinton in Beirut said there should be no outside interference in those elections.
The people of Lebanon must be able to choose their own representatives in open and fair elections without the specter of violence or intimidation, and certainly free of outside interference.
The stakes are clear. Will Lebanon move closer to the West or toward Iran and Syria? But in the fluid politics of the Middle East, the Obama administration is opening a dialogue with Syria and Iran, and a senior State Department official says Clinton's visit is designed to reassure Lebanon that those discussions are not coming at the expense of support for Lebanon's independence.
So I want to assure any Lebanese citizen that the United States will never make any deal with Syria that sells out Lebanon and the Lebanese people. You have been through too much.
The U.S. has provided $1 billion in assistance for Lebanon since 2006. The Obama administration is proposing more. But a senior State Department official says the U.S. will have to look at the composition of the government in evaluating its programs. Jill Doherty, CNN, Beirut.
Is this legit? In football, a delay of game results in a 10-yard penalty and a loss of a down. Not legit. NFL rules say that delaying a game carries a 5-yard penalty and no loss of a down.
As many of you football players know, that's for a delay of the play clock, which runs 35 seconds. What about a delayed outcome, one that's lasted for 15 years? That scenario played out in Pennsylvania this weekend as two squads put the pads back on and took the field to settle a gridiron grudge match. Reynolds Wolf checks in with some pregame commentary.
This is the story of two American towns, separated by a bubbling reach of Delaware River, but joined by a bridge in one of the nation's most heated high school football rivalries, a bitter feud played out for more than a century. And for the State Liners of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and the Red Rovers of Easton, Pennsylvania, that battle rages every Thanksgiving.
We always say that Thanksgiving is the barometer at which you are judged in these communities. What you do on Thanksgiving sticks with you for life.
And as the years fade, the memories of past games remain. The 1993 contest, perhaps one of the sharpest, a grueling clash that ended in a tie. Easton was heavily favored and scored first, Phillipsburg second, and then the underdogs dug in.
We made 3 big plays during the course of the game. We had 2 goal line stands. With about 5 minutes to go, Easton was lining up for what should have been a gimme field goal.
Now, it was on this field that late in the fourth quarter, Easton made that final drive. You know, all they had to do was just get the ball close, line up for a very short field goal, and then push it through the uprights. Simple enough. Thing is, that's not what happened.
Their tight end blocked out. I slipped through and actually blocked it with my armpit. Got a little lucky.
The overtime rule wasn't in effect in '93, so the game ended in a tie, 7-7, which these guys say is like kissing your sister.
A sister kisser!
So for 15 years, the recollections of that frustrating day gathered cobwebs in their minds, unresolved and tucked away, until one fateful moment.
All of a sudden, the phone starts ringing. People calling me, asking me, telling me about it.
Same players, same field, same rivalry. 10,000 tickets sold in 90 minutes.
Typically, you don't get second chances in life. And to get this kind of second chance means the world to both sides of the river.
But the boys of '93 are now grown men. Dark hair is now turning gray. Slim waists are now thick. They had to get into shape within 8 weeks.
You're reintroducing things that these guys haven't done in 15 years.
But strapping on the pads and walking out on that field one last time is something that most of these guys would never want to miss.
I'm going to kiss the ground, and then I'm going to get up and I'm going to listen to that crowd roar one more time. I can't wait.
One last chance to settle the score, once and for all.
We'd love to say this one ended in a tie too, but the teams made sure that wouldn't happen again. The outcome, Phillipsburg, the underdog in the 1993 game, led throughout this one and came away with the victory. Well, you guys are usually the ones getting report cards, but this time we want you to give them to President Obama. This Wednesday marks his 100th day in office, a big milestone for any new president. How do you think he is doing? Head to our blog, give him a grade, tell us your reasons why. Before we go, some security camera footage that is unbelievable. Just your standard day at the grocery store until a beast barrels his way down the aisle. First, it looks like he had a beef with the butcher. Then the bull's owner enters the fray before quickly turning tail. Probably a good idea, as you see right here. Here's one question, though. If you escape from a cattle market, why would your first stop be the supermarket? Maybe he just couldn't find the closest China shop. Well, luckily, no one was hurt. They just got a bit bullied. For CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azuz.